I remember my impression back in the year 1992 when I first started service, saw the cable car service. Before the last one at 8:30. We'll come back to all that. I will be repeating the information concerning your application later before the end of the tour. So now we can start talking a little bit about the island, in the history of this volcano, and in fact, one of the strongest volcanic eruptions of planet Earth ever. It was about 1500 years before Christ. It would be earlier, according to new beaver we have, it was about 1650 or 1630 before Christ. We're almost 1,000 feet above the sea. It seems that we made it. Yes, we did. So from eventually having lunch there. It looks so beautiful. And then of course the active volcano, quite impressive in the middle of it. You see the ship has moved a little bit now, and it came closer to the old port, where now I guess those who have no tour will disembark. We start disembarking and heading to the old port of the island, the old port of Fira, the one which is the one you will use for your head. If you take a look to your left now, down below us, but next to us, what we have is an old mine of pumice-stone. Piercing of the Suez Canal, I'm talking about the 1860s now, and later on for the one of the Corinth Canal in Greece. It's been expanded in the 1970s, and the region was a very nice contrast, of course, with white, and it is the blue from the sky and the sea. Germany would be orange, yellow, and black, and the US white and red. It makes no sense, of course. It is only because it looks nice on the islands. The blue and the white, you will not see a lot of them. They issued a law in the early 20th century. Any other village on the island has, like in summer parties and the rest of the Mediterranean, what kind of ritual ceremonies they had, and more about them. So only the frescoes on their own, they are a huge way destroyed by the eruption. People would build beautiful cave houses on the cliff, and you will be admiring and probably enjoying as you will go for a walk in the town. Because the cave houses are nice to see, they look so.
I grabbed a photo of it too. See right here? And then see down here?
It appeared always together with Fira, being always the official, and even back in those days in the... So here is Fira, here's the capital. And actually here is where we will be driving back and of course ending our tour later in the day. However, if you take a more careful look, you will see that most of the iconography is missing. And this is because of a big fire in the 1920s that burned down the building, and they plastered and covered the old iconography ever since. Pillars that you see around And Marlos. And right here is the very beginning of the beach of Camari. And actually the very beginning of
Chris, the wheels are in front of you.
It's a bit different, isn't it?
Chris, the wheels are in front of you.
People walking on the back.
Get it?
Which one is the oldest?
In the middle. And then it's Donald.
They had a nice Roberto.
Oh, and then it's around this.
And that's moist.
Not the same anymore.
way more little here today. And we had on this little island, imagine 10 small tomato industries.
That's been a lot
Many people were working in tomato production, making different flavors. The one of Messer Oia and Fira, where we're earlier at the church. And of course the view over here, which is also below the base.
I think they drive around a pedal
That's why from the top of the mountain almost like a bush, as if no prune, which is not the case. The grapevines are being pruned here on a regular basis. And the reason is to grow low is the wind. So what the local farmers have been always doing is a lot like a nest of birds or like a basket. If you would say air that falls at night. We get mostly white wine here. We produce mostly white wine because the local variety is a white variety called Assertico. It is not the only variety, but it is the dominant variety, where about 70% of the total. And when the Lariano Protragano for red. I'm about to get it to profit, that's very nice. Two of the long. You can age it for only 3, which is still okay. I mean, it's still a good Pinsanto. But if you age it for 4 years, it's even better. It gets sweeter, it gets sweeter, it gets better. The name of the wine is interesting. Actually, it's an Italian name, Pinsanto. It means, in Italian, it comes from the words Vino de Santorini, then Vino Santo, and then, of course, abbreviated, it turned to Pinsanto. It's because during the medieval period, when the island was under Venetian occupation, another theory about the name says that the name Pinsanto means Vino Santo, which in Italian means saint wine, holy wine, because it was, and it is still, the one of the Holy Communion of the island of the Greek Orthodox Church. Before us, here we will probably need about half hour. In between the first and the second. Part that you see, where you see the last crevice, and you see a piece of land where there's no real beach there, but it comes all the way to the very close to the mountain. It's a couple of miles of a distance. It's like